right, let's drink some coffee.
Let's do it. Hey guys, welcome to episode 7 of Coffeehouse. Not too much longer, I'm going to need another hand. We're starting to get up there in episodes. And I think, here's a little mini update, a little meta update for what's going on. I think we're going to turn this into a seasonal thing. We're going to knock out like 10 episodes. That'll be the end of season 1. Then we're going to take a short little break. We're having a whole lot of fun doing that kind of thing, filming and editing and putting these together. But I think it'd be really fun to do it in season. So we've got ideas for that as well. That'll make it a little more interesting. Yeah. So it'll be
refine the process, switch some things up, keep it unique, fresh.
Stay fresh. That's the most important
Just
thing.
like the coffee that we just grounded. It is now in our French press.
It's going to be nice and fresh, that's for sure.
Yeah. Today, we are drinking the Ethiopian. This is a light roast. Shelton will read some of the tasting profile.
Because you know that's what I'm about.
Yep.
Tasting notes. Are you ready? Quick little drum roll. Perfect. Fruity, floral, berry, and once again, can you guess it?
Stout.
Chocolate.
Chocolate again.
That's right. This is a fairly light...
We talked about stout last time.
That's true. But very consistently we've seen chocolate in many of these tasting notes of the Magic Beans because of the nature of the chocolate holler store. This cup.
That's right. Holler. Also, chocolate comes from a bean. Coffee comes from a bean. Beans are filled with chocolate.
It's a beanie thing, you know? Yeah. Sometimes it's just a beanie thing.
That's what we're looking at.
And we actually had this one roasted January 21st, so it's really fresh. It's got some good coffee. We're steeping. We're moving quickly. I just want to make a little note here of my succulents I've added to the set. It's actually not even in the frame, so that's cool. Now it is. And followed behind is Ethiopia. So, little fun prop for today. Is there anyone in here who knows anything about plants? You should totally tell me what type of plant I should get for my house. I've got some cacti, some succulents. I got some fun things going on. Let me grab one real quick. I got this big old thing. Ooh. Yes. Shout out Lowe's. No, I got it.
It looks kind of like bamboo.
It is an arboricola. It is an air purifier, so we're breathing very fresh air today.
Got the coffee, we got the fresh air.
So we're cruising, and today's
topic
is
kendama edits.
That's right. Yeah, this one is very straightforward. Nothing amazing in terms of an idea, but I think there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. And I think we touched a little bit on editing when we were talking about how to get sponsored, but I thought it would be fun, and he agreed that it would make sense. We're going to talk about maybe a little bit of setup stuff, a little bit of technical stuff like framing, composition, maybe like locations, maybe a little lighting. Music choice is a big one. Tricks.
You know, filming with people.
And then a thematic sense, like a story. And so there's a lot to kind of cover, I think.
Yeah, quite a bit to cover. So I guess we could just talk about maybe some reasons why it would be good to film a kendama edit.
Sure.
You maybe all have your own favorite kendama edits on YouTube. Those that maybe when somebody asks you like, what is kendama? You're like, you need to watch this edit. For a lot of OG players, like myself, we always reference the Colin Sander Edit 7. A classic, a staple, all the textbook tricks landed in that edit. I feel like we couldn't have had this episode about kendama edits without mentioning that one, which is why I did. So for you, what are some reasons why people should film edits and share those edits?
Sure. I mean, I don't have to go on some kind of weird philosophical like discussion on why like media is popular today. I mean, we all use stuff, you watch stuff all the time, and it's fun to like be known, right? And so like one way to do that in kendama is to film edits, and so that's one little thing you can do. Another thing is like events to show off kind of what you've done in terms of like how good of a job you are being a promoter or whatever you want to call that, and then display your skill level. And like, I mean, there's really a million reasons. I could go on, and I know someone's gonna mention like, hey, here's another good reason why in the comments below, which you should totally do. But what are some reasons you think?
So this is really cool, actually. The first day I got my kendama, I filmed myself, and for me, I had already been interested in filming and editing videos, and there wasn't a reason why I filmed it. I was interested in filming, I was interested in kendama, and so first day I like opened my kendama and just I was struggling to land Big Cup, but I filmed the whole thing, and Shelton
I
discovered
got the footage.
He has the footage on an older
cutest
computer.
thing ever. Jay, he grabs his kendama and he comes into the frame, and I know how to frame, and he holds it. I forgot how you held it. You
It was
just had
probably
it like,
poorly framed, but I was definitely. I think I bowed a couple times.
It was middle school Chad, and so he's got that vibe going on. You were actually dressed up because you were at a sports banquet or something like that.
Yeah, I had a nice time.
Chad's all dressed up for his first day of kendama, and he comes in the frame, and he's just like. And then he tries to land Big Cup, and how he does it is he doesn't reset the string in between the tricks, and so you're literally just bouncing it over and over.
And
it's beautiful.
It was poor kendama etiquette because I had not had anybody to teach me. It was just me figuring it out on my own.
Etiquette wasn't that well known anyway, so.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was innocent. It was like new.
And for me, I didn't really have a local community, a strong kendama community. A lot of you would agree. I don't have people around me that play kendama, and
I was about to say I'm ready to drink some coffee.
I'm ready to drink some coffee. We're gonna press. I'm gonna keep talking about my story.
Your scene.
Yeah. I literally surrounding me 2-3 players within a 30-minute drive that played kendama, and so for me, making videos was a way for me to connect with other kendama players. And because I didn't have people around me that played kendama, I reached out to the people. We're gonna finish this press together. Yes, nice and slow and strong. Because I didn't have people around me playing, I reached out to those who I knew were playing. Quickly, I started to make friends through YouTube videos, sharing on Facebook. Instagram wasn't around at the time, or it had just begun, and their video feature was not a thing. And so we shared on YouTube, shared on Facebook walls, which we talked about that in previous episodes of Coffeehouse. But 2 people that were early commenters on my YouTube channel, I was maybe getting like 100 views or less, just like very few views on my videos. Alex Smith and Daniel Robinson, 2 people who are still very relevant.
And 2 people who you totally looked up to, and that might have
something to do. And the reason why I looked up to them, because they were genuinely interested in the videos I was posting. They would always comment on edits. Good job, keep up the good work. I really like the trick you did here, like, and it was just like we became friends from that moment. And when I met them in person for the first time, was just like
you had been friends this whole time.
Yeah, and so for me, early on in kendama days, like making edits was a way to make friends and to share my progression, to document my progression. As I said, day one, literally. I've got footage from there in 2010 all the way to 2010.
Just to interject and to repeat that point is to document your progression. It's really cool to notice like when, and you might not unlock a trick on camera, but if you do, that's cool. Especially catch your own reaction, or as often as we see people filming with you, around you, freaking out when you also land it. I mean, so that's a really cool thing to see, and I think it'd be fun just if it was you were the only person to watch it 3 to 12 months later, just seeing your own progression.
I will say a lot of tricks that I landed for the first time, I landed for the first time on camera. And so there's something about getting that edit grind going.
That's just too good. Dink. Dink it. Sink it. Huge fans of Good Mythical Morning. All right.
Ethiopia.
I'm going to get my headspace dialed in on the fruity floral berry.
You forgot to sniff the beans today.
Well, I got time for that still. Fruity floral berry. Okay, floral, 100%.
Yeah.
1,000%. I'm literally eating petals.
Would you, okay, so if you were to compare this, there's one coffee that comes to my mind that we've...
Am I supposed to know which one it is?
Which one would you guess that this is most close to, based on the tasting notes and just your initial drink? My initial drink, immediately...
Don't tell me.
Immediately I know which coffee, and maybe you guys are thinking it too based on...
I'm trying to remember about what we've consumed, because this, once again, has been filmed over a couple months, well, a month, 2 months.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think back, and for some reason I'm drawn to Kongo, even though I feel like that's not correct.
My answer, Kongo. It's the Kongo. The floral nut, it's these very light, and I think maybe because it's a light roast, you've got this like...
The fruitiness is what's coming through for me, because I think, if I remember it correctly, it was a lemon grass?
And lemongrass and citrus.
Yes, so I'm getting that very strong.
It's a very bright...
You don't know how proud I am of that moment right there. I'm glad we got that on camera.
Document everything.
My coffee tasting progression right there. Proud of that. Also, Kongo was like, how long ago did we film that? 16 days ago or something?
Yeah, but two episodes, I believe. Because last time we had the espresso blend, which one of my personal favorites.
Yeah. I'm so jazzed right now.
You know, it's documentation, just like these kendama edits. You know, you kind of document.
I'm so proud.
Document the progression of coffee knowledge. Here goes the daily bean sniff.
The semi-annual bean sniff.
The weekly bean sniff.
Here's the secret. If you want to get a good bean sniff in, I've patented this. You let all your air out, you exhale everything within your body, and then the only air you consume is the aroma off of the beans. It should consist of about 60% oxygen and 40% beans. So here we go.
Oh, that was...
Might have got about 10% of a paper bag, but I'll take it.
Oh yeah, it smells like coffee.
I don't know if it's oxygen deprivation or if I just got a little high off the coffee, but here I am.
This is also, don't fact check me on this, but I believe coffee is a good pre-workout. And Shelton and I recently have been on the gym grind. We're planning on maybe doing a triathlon. Not maybe. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We don't have a date yet. So basically,
the idea is to do an Ironman sprint, or I guess it's a triathlon sprint.
Triathlon sprint, yeah.
And it's 750 meter swim, which is
so
about
it's like a half a mile.
830 yards, I think, is what that comes out to.
Yeah,
half a mile.
And then you're to bike.
12.
It's I think like 15K or 20K, which is a 12
mile bike ride. Followed up with a
5K run or a 3.1 mile run.
Oh, 3.1.
Yeah, 3.1.
He's the runner.
Yeah, so the 6.2 would be the 10K, which is the next one up.
So that's the real goal is
half mile swim, 12-mile bike ride, and a
3-mile run. 1 mile run.
And so we're drinking the coffee before the workouts.
As a pre-workout. It gets you going, man.
It does. Yeah, you get ready to work out.
I hope maybe like Ethiopians are like really good sprinters and runners and stuff. I assume they are. So maybe like there's something there.
There is something there. I like that.
Yeah.
I like where your head's
Thank you.
And if you guys didn't notice, Shelton's got this watch.
I got a Garmin. It's a VivoActive 3. Found it on sale, and it can keep track of like steps, like running, swimming, that kind of thing. I'm not shilling. I'm just saying it's a pretty cool watch.
Tracking the distance, we found out that the gym we've been going to at the pool, it's like
25 yards,
like 33 laps or something in order to do the distance for the triathlon, and I think I get through like 2, 3, 4 laps.
We're not very far yet.
I'm ready to be out of the pool, but I'll stick to the bike riding and the running.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. It's progression.
My bike is a flat tire.
So kendama edits. We've talked about some things, good reasons why you should
document your progression, to show off your events, to show off your friends and teamwork.
Make friends. We didn't really talk about this yet, but filming with friends, I kind of had a kendama team. Those 2 to 3 guys that were local for me. We made a team. We filmed team edits together. And we weren't like pros. We were just friends hanging out filming.
And that kind of ties in with the what I would say the fourth, which is engaging with the community, which is what we were talking about.
Yeah, whether it's online or locally.
In any case, one of these reasons alone would be good enough, but you have 4 at least to go film, so do it.
And beyond that, you know, you've got like putting yourself out there as far as like if you're interested in sponsorship. Of course, that's like so far down there, but if that's what you're interested in, posting, you know,
better get on it.
Edits are a big way.
And I'll say this: let's just say hypothetical out there for you people who like to dream big. If you film from the get, now let's sit here together in a room. It's just gotten dark, and we're about to show your sponsorship video on a projector. The first thing we see,
amongst a crowd of 250,
at least, maybe a full stadium. So your sponsorship video comes on, you're joining the team, and the first thing we see is a video you filmed 4 years ago where you just started kendama. You know how cool that is?
The Gallaghers had a really cool edit for their, I guess it was their pro model release, not their pro announcement. And it was, or it might have been their pro announcement, I can't remember, but it was footage of like VHS converted into digital.
From when they were babies?
When they were babies, it was so cool.
Yeah,
like,
so
Cooper
any kind of like reflection
in
the past or anything like that is like major key for that kind of thing, so fun idea.
Yeah, another like segueing off of that, edits more recently, at least from our perspective, you know, as a company and seeing what other companies put out, a lot of edits nowadays, since Instagram is this hub for posting tricks, a lot of edits are announcement edits, product releasement edits, pro announcement edits, things of that sort. And so I feel like there's more opportunity for edits that aren't related to a specific
event, milestone.
Yeah, and I think the reason why maybe we choose those outlets to show off these new kenamas, like announce people's pros, because the story behind them that builds and shares that whole timeline. And
so let's talk about stories.
Yeah.
Because we say we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so obvious to me to have a story, is because the best edits, 100% across the board, tell a story. Whether it is events, like what happened for the day, like how it started, development, that kind of thing, or sponsorship edits or pro model releases, you're talking about something that matters, that people care about.
Yeah.
Now, talking about not sticking to a milestone does not mean you can't have a story. We talked about the herding cats one in a previous episode, and like, you need to have a story. Well, you don't need one, but it's preferable to have a story because it just helps people connect better. I mean, I'm trying to think of a movie that's just like terribly written.
Terribly written.
I can't think of it in terms of story. Like, I don't know. I should have thought of it before I brought up the example.
What is the what is that one movie? There we go. That was out the window.
I just want to.
The election. What is it? The election in South Korea or North Korea?
The interview.
The interview.
Yeah.
Was that a bad story?
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
I don't know. It was a funny.
I just want to rage against the first Hobbit because and I can't say much because Tolkien wrote the story, but maybe the adaptation of the movie's better. But they spend the whole movie walking. It's like a 3-hour-long movie, and they just walk. If that did well in the box office, your edit can too. Just please have a story. That's the bottom line. And let's talk about just for a second, like what does it mean to have a story? How about that?
Okay.
And it can tie into some other stuff too, like location and or progression. Even.
So I want to one edit that I wanted to talk about whenever I was thinking about this topic. One that I personally think this edit is the best kendama edit as far as like telling a story, and it was Kendama USA's 2015 Japan edit. I was watching it a little bit before we started.
I knew you were going to say that Japan edit because those are so cool.
Jake Weens directed it, and it starts out with voiceovers talking about what Japan means to each of the pro team members that went. I had not been to Japan at that point, and after watching that video, I felt like I went to Japan.
That's cool.
And I literally get chills watching.
So you're sharing an experience with other people.
And the way that Jake told the story of them going to Japan, what Japan meant to them, what the trip means, and like Kendama World Cup, just conveying the feelings and the experiences that you had into video form and allowing others to experience that through the video.
Could not agree more.
And so that one's like number one on my list as far as telling a story. And it's funny, like they've had 2016, 2017 Japan edits, and they're good edits. They didn't tell a story the same way as that 2015. And that edit I think actually came out a year later. So,
and I think you could literally just like make up a story, even if it's something silly. Like it's enough to like pull someone in. Like maybe it's like you going.
George Marshall made a edit, but it was like it was a little story. It was like a fun little tale, like a kendama like flies and hits him in the head, and he was like,
What is this?
Yeah.
And he just slays it.
Yeah, and so there are some like cool creative ones like that.
Like if you made an edit of you going to the post office to pick up a dama that you just purchased, and like I don't know,
or just to your mailbox,
yeah, just you could just do a million different things, and so have a story. That's the bottom line for that.
Another one, Adam Kingman, old edit, and I think we've talked about Adam early episodes, maybe one or two. SPF Lemon, I believe, and he kind of portrays himself as a kid playing. I guess it was like a stick and a rock or something, and then like. Or he had a stick and he was like carving it with a knife. Then the next one it was a little more defined, and then it was like an older version of him. He had like 3 people who looked just like him. And then the last one was him with a
He hired child actors.
It was really good, well put together, and it was just like a fun creative.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
And then more recently, Zach Magnuson, the edit he released about at the border, and we watched
POV.
it live. POV, but it was cool. He segmented between the POV shots with tripod shots of him like walking up to a spot or like traveling to a spot. So in a way, he kind of told the story of like giving you a little more perspective.
Context.
He was giving context, and he wasn't quite like, this is why I'm going to the beach. It wasn't
forcing you,
but it kind of like, I guess, leaves it up to you to decide maybe with the story.
This is a good lean into locations. So the good thing about the locations is it's like you have full creative freedom. I honestly believe you can make anything work. If you end up in a sewer with a friend holding up a flashlight while you lace a trick, great. Fantastic. You're just making good use of your location.
Yeah. I guess some tunnel shots are actually pretty cool with the lighting.
Yeah, they are cool.
So this is actually, so we were talking about lighting for a little bit. This gets my mindset into gear, and I watch Casey Neistat a lot. Some of his older, I love his older videos a lot more. I feel like now
Agreed. Not as good.
He's just got away from the creative because his mind is more on business type stuff, I think. One thing he preaches is you don't need the gear. If you have a camera, if you've got one of these, you can create a good enough video. Jake Wien's actually on his old school like edits and everything. He filmed on his iPhone, edited on his iPhone, and uploaded. And they were really creatively shot. The cinematography, the way he set up shots. If you're like, I don't have a camera, I can't make an edit, I don't have editing software, I don't have a computer. Like,
excuses.
If you have an iPhone, it has a camera, you can get iMovie for free on your iPhone.
I'm sure the Androids have the same thing too.
I'm not familiar with Android, but knowing competitive markets, obviously they're going to have some kind of free editing program. There's apps you can download. If you can film on your phone and you can edit on your phone, there's no excuses there.
So I feel like we've kind of covered a little bit of equipment, and like there's a difference between like DSLRs and camcorders and stuff like that. And I honestly think you should probably just spend some time Googling yourself, because I think technical talk gets a little boring personally.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, but I will bring in a fun kind of point. So Alex Mitchell, time ago, when he was getting into making edits and stuff like that, he was basically doing what he could.
Do we have a potato in here that I could just to show what he's like filmed? He filmed with a potato.
Okay.
Back in the day, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And so, so my point ultimately was he lives in Alabama, which means that they don't have an internet connection. And so,
sorry, Alex.
We're just ragging on this.
They have potatoes, though.
Yeah, they have potatoes. So what he would do is actually he'd have edits ready and like his section for like a team video ready, and he couldn't upload them. It was either like, sorry, there's no computer access, or there's no internet access. I think he ended up getting it on a thumb drive and taking it to his school and then uploading it that way.
Yeah, or he would like have his cousin like film, take it back to like Georgia or something.
Yeah, it was just crazy. So there's always a way. If you're saying I can't do it, it's just because you haven't even tried.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're able to like consume and watch edits, and
you can make them.
You can make it. Of course, there are limitations, yes, but
for 99.9% people,
in most cases, get creative with what you have, and at the end of the day, you know, the effort, putting it in, and doing what you can, like pushing yourself, is really what's going to make it. Even if you don't have the best quality camera, editing software, the creativity, the tricks, and the style behind it are going to be more valuable at the end of the day than having like the super in-depth shot.
So we talked about equipment, and I think that started, it looked like we were going to talk about lighting, so I want to go back to lighting for a second.
Yeah, I just like lighting in my head was like equipment.
Part of the equipment.
Yeah.
So in my head I was picturing more like times of the day and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you have had a lot of experience filming edits, so I'd love for you to talk about like the time of day, the golden hour, and like stuff like that.
Yeah, obviously
shadows,
lighting, and I mean wind, all these like factors are such a big factor in kendama. And like when hosting Battle at the Border, we're always looking for venues with good stage lighting and all these factors that go into like
playability.
Yeah, and so in an edit, obviously it's best that you are like, the trick is visible. A lot of times if I'm right-handed, I want to be on this side of the camera filming. If I'm left-handed, I want to be on this side. That way you can see the open part of my hand. And sometimes, a lot of people starting out will do it the opposite way, and you can't really see the lighthouse if your hand's like covering
your sketch, okay? We're watching you.
Don't want to hand the tricks, no hands. But lighting, yeah, lighting's a huge factor in that. You know, golden hours that, like, depending on the time of year, right? Like,
if it's 6 p.m. sunset, golden hour is probably like 4:30, 4:45.
It's the sunset. You get the orange glow coming in on a nice day. That's like the ideal lighting, like, you know, best, you know, this golden hour.
Sometimes overcast days can be really good because you don't have the harsh direct light.
And so, I actually prefer overcast days.
Yeah.
It's easiest to work with, and most cameras are going to auto-expose you to be, you know, the right colors and everything.
And if you're feeling particularly fancy, you can do like we do and purchase some nice white LED lights to do a little bit of shots and that kind of thing, because lighting's good.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even tell you the amount of times that I've grinded for a trick, have missed that golden hour, it's gotten dark, and I've had to stop filming because of bad lighting, and, you know, like, film starts to get really grainy. And
here's a fun.
I mean, there are a lot of shots in edits of mine that are like really bad shots, but you spend the time going for a trick, and, you know, you're dedicated to it. You're just gonna land it, take what you can get.
Here's a fun little flashback. So this is to do with the locations where you can film anywhere, and also lighting. In Jake Fisher's edit where you're standing in the shower in the hotel.
So it was an old Kinko edit, I think Spotown Throwdown 2014, and yeah, it was like 40. It was this idea.
I'll be Chad.
This idea was dumb. Yeah, I'm Fisher. 45 minutes in the bathroom was like the thing, and so it's like Fisher's going for a trick, like misses, and then he's just like, and then I stick my head out of the shower like. But yeah, there was like really bad lighting in the shower, but
in a hotel bathroom.
So, yeah, somebody had like a really nice light, and so we
made it work. And it made it in the edit.
Yeah, gosh,
how funny is that?
Yeah, I cheated. I ended up propping the light on the like shower rod, walked out, and it looks like I was there the whole time. But I made it for the one clip where I'm like
peeking out. Come on, Jake. Yeah, so let's just talk about like composition and like framing and that kind of thing. So something that's very common that's like worth looking up is called the rule of thirds. That's a fun way of framing. And it's really good for kendama because a lot of the action happens just away from your body. So it ends up
kind of centrally, ideally, yeah.
Yeah, in a way. Like, I mean, obviously it depends on the trick, but like, if you're, so the idea of the rule of thirds is like, if you're looking at me within this video, I fall in 30% of the frame, here's 30%, and then Chad's in the next 30%. Yeah. It's actually like 33%. I mean, it's a third. Yeah. So, so if I'm doing a trick or something, you know, I've got something going on here, the trick would actually probably be happening within Chad's third, and so you end up with a really cool frame shot.
Like if I'm here, that's where you want to be, right there, and that third's like
done. Oh. So that's a fun way to frame, and then I don't know, you can kind of play with your environment, like doorways as blocking off something, or like mirrors, or like
walls, things. I mean, I love filming on a nice wall.
And stuff might not be like intuitive in this. Like this is something that's kind of hard to explain, and so what I would suggest you do is like, from here, this point on into the future, maybe look at some pictures and other videos that people do and just note, like, what is the subject? Like, who are we supposed to pay attention to? And, like, where are they within the frame relative to everything else? And then, like, things might make a lot more sense, you know?
Yeah.
In that way of thinking. And that was just, like, something brief to talk about because it can enhance a frame, like, a shot by just a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think if you're doing like a tripod shot where you've set up the camera, and typically what I'll do is I'll set my kendama where I want to stand, and then go back to my camera and I'll focus on the kendama to make sure that I'm in focus where I need to be. And a lot of cameras maybe have this autofocus feature, like phones, like you don't really have to set that up because they'll just kind of focus to you. But on my like DSLR, I'll like focus in on the dom, zoom out, and then I'll flip the camera. Go stand there, and I'll do a practice of the trick, and then I'll go and check the footage to make sure everything's in frame like I want it to be. And then after you've done that kind of like check, then go full grind mode, get behind the...
Yeah, autofocus can kind of be hit or miss.
Yeah, we tried that on, episode 2 maybe?
Yeah.
But sometimes autofocus can be your friend, sometimes.
Manual focus.
Yeah.
I guess they never miss. Yeah. So let's move into editing maybe, and I use Premiere, which is an Adobe product, and you use.
I've used Windows Movie Maker back in the day. Again, free option. To be honest, I've used iMovie. There it is. I've used iMovie for the past.
You act like you're not proud of that.
I'm not. Like, so many people give me crap for using iMovie. thing is, it's free, it's easy to use, and like
it gets the job done.
To be honest, I think I'm pretty good at using iMovie.
It's like moving your arm. Like you're so used to iMovie that it's like natural to you, like shortcuts and everything else.
Oh yeah, dude. So apparently there's this like 1 minute of like edited footage is an hour worth of work essentially. Apparently it takes
for like professionals.
Yeah. So if you're editing, it's generally like
an hour to a minute.
Yeah. For me, it's maybe like
13 seconds?
No, it's probably more realistically like 20 minutes to the minute.
Because you've got it, so you're comfortable with your tools and like,
the shortcuts. I understand the importance of editing in like Adobe Premiere. Of course, that kind of software can be expensive. You know, you've got like the Final Cut Pros and
sometimes you can find them at different places. Like
I know, like Sony Vegas was popular for a while.
Not a huge fan.
I think it's probably fallen off recently. I don't really hear that.
So Premiere is neat because I think you can do plugins. So there's stuff that you can attach, like mods on like Minecraft or something like that.
Layers too.
Yeah, layers is a good way to describe it. And
so many layers.
There's a lot of video effects that come with it, a lot of audio effects, and you can play with things. And another cool thing is keyframes, which is something you can't do in iMovie, which is very important. Which it lets you do like, if this is a frame, and this is a frame, and this is a frame. You know, it's like the individual pictures of a video. You can actually modify frame by frame certain things. Like if I want text to move with me, like if I'm like,
oh, that's
text,
beautiful.
then you can do it in a very smooth kind of way. And there's an easier way to do that too with tracking and that kind of thing. And then there's also After Effects, which lets you do some nutty stuff. I don't know enough about it, but like, you know, I could make steam come out of the ears and like all sorts of crazy stuff like that. And so Premiere is a really solid tool if you can get a hold of it. If you're in college or high school, there might be licenses available to you for very cheap or free. And so I think between iMovie and Premiere, you'd be good on editing. Oh, yeah. Super good. So.
And you know, with like the Adobe suite, you have this very cohesive, you know, all the different applications work easy and integrate together.
That's right.
Very easily.
And if I was to make a suggestion, this is common. I think some people would consider it to be common sense, but I might as well say it anyway. If you're filming, film in the highest resolution you can, that in a way that doesn't inconvenience you. Like if you have a small SD card, maybe don't do 1080p. But like if you can do 1080p, do it, because you can always shrink a video down and it can still be crystal smooth, but you can't make it bigger. And so if you filmed a 360p video, a lot of people view it much higher on their desktop or phone or something like that, and so just for viewing pleasure, go for the highest resolution. Yeah,
I actually, and depending on your editing style, I always prefer to 60 frames per second. I prefer to shoot in 60 frames per second because I like slow-mo.
More frames, the more I don't know, the more you can see within the time period, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's, I guess, a more clear picture when you slow it down.
Yeah. Well, there's just more frames. Yeah.
And so, oftentimes, like I'm not sure if my camera now does 1080p 60 frames. It doesn't.
Neither of our DSLRs.
So I film in 720p.
And this show is actually shot in 720. So
yeah.
Hypocrite.
So yeah, I prefer the 720 60 frames just in case I need to slow it down for kendama tricks. Something a little more cinematic, and it's not going to be slow-mo.
You want to do a slow-mo clink?
1080p.
Let's make it real dramatic. You ready? Clink it. And dink it. No. Dink it and sing. Wait.
Clink it.
Let's redo it. But that wasn't slow-mo.
I was worried I was going to lose my handle. I was like... Those are called Adobe pre-effects. Right there.
No slow-mo needed.
No monthly fees. Like
So if you can lace all your tricks like that and like your personal slow-mo, then you're good. Don't worry about editing or anything like that.
Yeah. And I think generally, just kind of looking at everything we've talked about, creativity is always going to be the key factor here. Just like getting creative with what you have, getting creative with how you use it, and getting creative with how you present it.
So let's talk about mediums real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in my head, there's like a few different places you can put your videos. Vimeo used to be a classic, so I just want to start with that because
I think Vimeo's
it's underrated.
Yeah. Well, it's because I think they don't copyright strike songs.
Really?
Yeah, they might actually be more on that now. I remember back in the day, we'd upload a video on YouTube and it'd get copyright strike kicked off. And I'm like, oh, crap. upload it to Vimeo, share that link in like bio or something. And it's like
so Vimeo. I think the original idea for Vimeo was that YouTube had a cap on how high the resolution could go. I think at one point very early you couldn't have
so
1080p,
funny.
and so they allowed. And it also had to do with how you buffered the video. The quality would vary just like this, and so professionals were looking for a place to put portfolio work, and they could upload whatever the heck they wanted, any file size, and so people would go big on that, and so that's why that was a format. So not as popular anymore because YouTube's changed. But
it's interesting you said Vimeo first.
Because I wanted to just start with that to kind of explain that because I think Matt Ballard, and I know that he put a lot of his stuff on there.
Did you know he actually got featured by Vimeo?
Did not know that.
So he posted a documentary on EG, who is one of the Zuma Donkey members, and it got one of the Vimeo, I forget what they call it, Vimeo
contributors or like
pick. It's like a not an employee pick, but it's like whatever their
just a highlighted.
Yeah,
cool.
So it's like getting on the trending page on YouTube, which was huge. I mean, it got hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah, and so that was an option. Now YouTube's the next one, very common. Everybody knows about it. You can watch on mobile, so blah, blah, blah.
YouTube, that's for
solid.
Me, the go-to.
Not even going to talk about it. Waste of time. IG.
IGTV.
We
talked about it.
Had to remind you.
Yeah.
So now that is an option. I think it's a cool option. You can even add at the front of your video, like rotate phone or something like that, to give people a heads up if you want to go landscape or vertical edit.
The vertical edit, yeah, and we actually talked about IGTV, saying,
in a previous episode.
You never know, in like a few years, IGTV might be the only thing we use. Well, shout out to Alex Guzman, who actually went and made an IGTV edit.
What's good?
Which is super sick. Like, we talked about it, and he's like, all right, doing it.
And it was a sick edit, too.
Now he's like one of very few Kendama edits available on IGTV.
Which is dope.
Yeah, it is cool. I think Brian Skagline posted, like, I think it was just a trick. It wasn't an edit. It got several thousand views, like crazy.
I think people are looking for it, so...
Maybe, or like Instagram's looking for people to use it,
Get on that.
And so if you're one of the early people to pick that up, maybe that's a route. Personally, I'm still like the YouTube is my...
it's just the first place you think of.
Yeah,
and
that's where everyone's attention is.
And then the last one, which is very unpopular within the kendama world, is Facebook video. I think it's popular for a lot of other things, like it's basically like QVC for like face. It's like moms are looking at, hey, check out this cool little thing in the kitchen. It's a ladle. You know. So I think there's probably still a little bit something there, but like it really it's kind of like also put your video there.
And it's mostly like it feels like people who post on Instagram are just sharing that to Facebook.
True.
And Facebook, because owns Instagram, just converts
works together.
Another idea is like within Facebook, going to the Facebook Kendama community and posting videos in there. You've got a really large group of people that are watching, and I see a lot of people share tricks and videos.
And people might
within the group.
People might not leave a whole lot of comments or likes, but that's fine too. Like a lot of people are actually seeing it. For some reason, sometimes there's just not as much engagement on there.
Yeah, but sometimes it gets crazy.
You just never know. So might as well put it up there.
So those are some cool options as far as platforms, and maybe there's more that we aren't even thinking about. There's
film it all on Snapchat, 15 seconds at a time.
Snapchat was actually really big before
they blew it.
Before Instagram started the stories feature, and it was just kind of like that's crazy. They wanted to buy Snapchat. Snapchat's like, psych, we're not selling out.
Whoops.
And in hindsight, it's probably good that way. Facebook doesn't own all the like top social platforms, but Instagram's like, all right, sick, we'll just steal your concept. And I think when stories came to Instagram, a lot of people who posted Snapchat kendama transition.
And if you can, so this is if you can get your edit on Netflix, that would be dope.
Ooh.
Yeah, so try that.
Do you know if Cheech Sanders' video is on?
No clue.
They have a movie. I don't know if it's on Netflix.
I don't know either.
Kendama's in the
There are kendamas in it, yeah. I don't know.
Have you watched it?
Nope.
I watched it.
You did?
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good.
Yeah, I have to say that.
It felt a little cheesy. The kendama part was... Okay, the kendama part was very cheesy. But outside of the kendama part, it was a movie.
I need to see if I can find it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it might be on Netflix, so...
worth a watch.
Yeah, I think it's Resident Advisor.
Advisor. Got it. College.
I think Downspike definitely did better than the kendama part in that movie. So
that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But is there anything we're missing from the edit thing? I think we've kind of nailed it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess We talked about a few of our like favorite edits, things that we've enjoyed watching. A few staples from me. I guess, would you want to talk any more about companies and how they use kendama edits to share stuff, or is that we kind of just talk?
I think everybody kind of gets it. We see what pops up, and like you see how it works.
I guess that's why it'd be cool to see a lot more edits that aren't centered around just like a product or an announcement, you know?
Yes, please.
And we're like, companies or kendama brands are looking for creative, cool videos, and
we talked about that. Yeah,
they're happy to share stuff. Everyone wants to share that, you know. And so if you put out something really cool, creative, unique, and it's not basically, if it's not company brand oriented or like product oriented, it's just about kendama.
Easy to share. Whatever
kind of story you want to present.
Cool.
We're down for it. Integrate other things into kendama, you know, like. You've seen a lot of.
If you can play music, can you please make your own? Oh, that's what we forgot to talk about. If you,
music,
I'm a genius.
Yes.
So if you can make your own music, you should totally make your own music for your edit, because that'd be sick.
Yeah, it's funny because we talked about copyright strike, but
yes,
it didn't.
And I knew.
Go into
Yeah.
music,
Okay, hit it real quick. You know more about that. Our videos still get copy strike.
Everyone. I mean, like talking to like Brian Skagline about like.
So frustrating.
And you can never really gauge it because there's so like within music, you can buy music. And you're not allowed to use it in an edit, which is kind of weird because you're in a way like people listen to the music in your edit. They're like, oh, I want to download that song, you know. And it's kind of like free promotion in a way, but anyways, the whole YouTube copyright situation is crazy. There's like you can search ahead of time, search songs into it's like a YouTube copyright strike search bar, and you can Google it, find it. And you can find ahead of time, like, okay, is this going to be blocked in all countries? Is it going to be blocked in like 1 or 2?
And here's a fun hack.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you with it. You ready?
Hit it with me.
1, remixes. So if you look at a song and it's been remixed, I think enough has changed so that the copy strike won't catch it. Sometimes. I'm going to say this is like a 70%.
Yeah.
Now here's another thing. Hack 2.
Instrumentals.
Not what I was going to say, but yes.
That's what I use.
Instrumentals are, I don't know, because it seems to me that might be the pulse that it catches. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or the shot. I'm going to give that one a 20% chance.
Okay. Take it.
Hit it with 3. You got another one for me?
Trap remix.
Nope. Speeding up a song.
Yeah.
Or changing the pitch. So, fun fact, Coffeehouse is actually both a remix that's been sped up at the very beginning. The intro is 125%. I've got 18 seconds, which technically would be like 24, and it's a remix. So, slip it on by, YouTube. Gotcha.
Anybody make music, hit us up. Let us know.
I'd love that for season 2.
Unique, yep. Yeah, so for music selection,
do your best.
Whatever you like to listen to, use that music. Try and avoid the copyright strikes.
While also incorporating it within the edit.
Yeah, I edit to music, and I don't just slap clips on, throw music. It's like I put the music on, and then I make the clips work with the music and the beat. And so again, creativity with it. Creativity with it. Yep.
All right, so I think we're pretty much done here. The video for us has already cut twice. We've hit our time limits. So I'm going to go ahead and apologize for such a long episode. I know how much you guys hate watching us talk.
I'm going to say you're welcome for the long episode.
That's right, a little positivity.
Yeah.
Get us through episode 7. We'd love some more ideas. Like, we're sitting around, we're brainstorming, but we don't want to bore you guys to tears with anything. We'd love to talk about more. We might do a Q&A for our last episode of the season.
Episode 10.
That's what's going to happen.
The final for season 1. So
and we're going to hit you guys
forward to it.
With the Q&A.
Yeah, so we'll probably take from Instagram and then go hard for the 10th episode.
So if you guys want to catch us on Instagram, we'd love to see you there. Let me take a step back. YouTube, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. I'm sure you have if you're watching this. I'm noticing more people come in from other places, so little bell. Ding.
Appreciate that.
And then Instagram, back to Instagram. So if you want to find us on Instagram, at Chad Covington, at Shelton III, and at Soul Kendamas. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.
And regular speed. Dink it. Already sunk it.
See ya.